We're testing. How the heck we doing, baby? Take my pants off. I got shorts on, don't worry. Oh, yeah, this angle and me starting this by saying I'm gonna take my pants off. I promise I'm wearing a matching terry cloth set right now. Alright, I need to see how this looks. Hey, hi, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Just in Case. And just in case you don't know me, my name is Casey, and this is my bedroom. Get your head out of the gutter. It's just a podcast. There's nothing happening except a great conversation about feng shui and how not to fuck it up and how to make the feng shui in your life better, your space. Just overall improve your life, implementing the practices of feng shui. So let's get into it, shall we? So this episode we're going to talk about things that you can physically do, real, tangible, practical advice on things that you can do to make some shifts and changes in your world. I live by this. I swear by it. I have been practicing these practices for many years now, and they genuinely work. I can say I'm a living example of feng shui. I don't know if that even makes sense, but I can definitely say that I have seen a correlation, a positive impact in my life with the way I keep my space around me and what I'm attracting in and all that jazz. We're going to clear out some old stagnant energy that you probably do not even realize that you've been carrying around. So today's the day where you become aware of it and you make a decision to change it and to fix the feng shui. And don't fuck it up again. That's what we're doing today. The definition of feng shui before we dive deeper into this, and then I'm going to give you, like, when you Google it, and then I'm going to tell you my definition, okay, and my perspective. All right. So feng shui is defined as a system of laws considered to govern spatial arrangement and orientation in relation to the flow of energy, qi, and whose favorable or unfavorable effects are taken into account when siting and designing buildings. People also ask, what does feng shui literally mean? So it literally means, translates to wind, water. And it's an ancient Chinese practice that involves arranging buildings and landscapes to harmonize with the flow of energy or qi. Basically, it is creating harmony and balance in a space. So I'm going to share with you my perspective of feng shui and how I see it. We're going to look at it through my lens. So first, we are going to talk about the context of energy. So feng shui, they refer to energy as qi, which is the energy that flows through a space. I believe everything is energy. Literally everything. Everything holds an energy. Like every tangible item, we are walking energy beings. Like everything is energy, as simple as that. So being that everything is energy, I believe that the space and the things we own and the spaces we occupy are all extensions of us and our energy. So for example, your bedroom is an extension of you. Your car is an extension of you. Your purse is an extension of you. Your bag, like your computer, your cell phone, all of these things that are tied to you, they're extensions of you. The spaces that you hold and occupy and create and whatever, they're all extensions of you. So with that being said, if your room is a mess, I bet you your life is a mess. And if your life is not a mess and your room's not a mess, or if your room is a mess and your life is not a mess, you probably are mentally messy. Like there's a lot going on up there. From my experience, I can say that, okay? So everything is an extension of you. Your belongings are extensions of you. Like the things you carry, the things you hold on to, they are all extensions of you. Got it? That's the point I needed to get across here. And that everything is energy and it's all reflecting your inner world. We got that covered? Good. When people think of feng shui, typically from what I've seen, people usually think it's just like the organizing and the cleaning, like mopping the floor and like sweeping and vacuuming, making your bed, all of those things, which, yes, those are all good practices of feng shui, like keeping a space clean and clear and like having your bed made. Those are all great things to do, but it gets even deeper than that. Like it is so much deeper when we dive into the world of energy because everything is energy. So this is like a deep rabbit hole that I have dove into head first many, many years ago. And now here we are talking about it today in my bedroom while it's snowing outside and we are floating in outer space together. Yeah, so people think it's just cleaning. It's scrubbing bubbles, it is, but at the same time, it's a lot deeper than that. There's so much depth that goes into feng shui, and yes, it is the arrangement of furniture to have the energy flow in a space. Like there are certain practices that the list is long. There are so many different ways, different like principles to follow. The position of your bed, where like you like do not put your bed in front of a window, all these things, because it just creates these feelings and these experiences in the spaces depending on the layout of the furniture and all these things. People think feng shui is like cleaning, scrub a dub dub, whatever. It's so much deeper than that. The real cleaning happens when you are releasing and detaching from the things that you're holding on to, like the tangible belongings that do not serve you, that are just taking up space in your world. So yeah, the real cleaning happens when you release your attachment from the belongings that you've just been holding on to, and you keep the energy moving by shifting it and clearing space and having space for new energy to come in. Keep the energy flowing. Case closed. That's that. So we're going to clear your space to clear your mind. Like I said, your space is a reflection of you. Everything that you own is an extension of you. It's reflecting you. So if your space is cluttered with things that you have had since you were a child, like your high school souvenirs, I don't even know, like your high school, like little mementos, like things like that, like all of these things, like you're carrying that energy, you're keeping that energy with you, like whatever version of you existed when you obtained the belonging or the memento or whatever it is, as long as you carry that with you, that version of you is still alive and probably not well. It probably wants to go so that you can become something bigger and better and more aligned with who you're supposed to be right now, or the better version of you that exists out there, right? It's time to let go of our past and move forward into the future and into the present moment, more so than the future. We're in the present moment. We're not in high school anymore. We are not living for tomorrow. We're here right now. That's what feng shui is all about. Getting rid of all the attachments to things that don't belong to us anymore because they are not serving our present moment, right? Okay, so I have a list here to help me not go on tangents, but the tangents still might happen. We sidebar here. Okay, so the first thing I want to say here, we're going to clear your space to clear your mind, and not just like clean your space. It is not just like, yes, do your laundry, make your bed, vacuum the floor, all that stuff. Do those things, please. We're going to go into it deeper. If you have support, if you have a friend that you want to sit with while you do this practice, that's awesome. I've done this alone so many times, but I've also done it with friends. Sometimes it's easier when you just have like a friend sitting on your bed while you're like going through your clothes and like purging all this stuff. It's always easier sometimes. For me, at least, I feel like there's probably some condition out there to explain that behavior. I don't know, like you need to mirror, like you need someone there with you. So if you have support and you want support for this process, because things will arise, it can be emotional, getting rid of things that you've been holding on to for so long. Like it's hard. It's the hardest part. But it's also the most important part. But it's where the most stuff, like yucky stuff, comes up from your past that maybe you just haven't been, you don't want to deal with. But the truth is, you've never wanted to deal with it. If you're still holding on to it, like you haven't confronted the things that you're not letting go of from your past, and now here you are holding them physically, tangibly in your world right now. So it's time to let it go. So if you need a friend to do that with you, ask a friend, ask for help, ask for support. But if you want to do it alone, more power to you. You got this. I believe in you, and you're going to have a great time. And you're going to you might not have a great time. I did. I always get, how can I explain this? It's not that it's not, it's just not like a yay. Sometimes it's like crying and it's emotional and it's whatever, but those are parts of life, right? You might cry, and that's okay. Crying is okay. We're allowed to feel our emotions, people. I've moved a bunch, and every time I've moved, I've really only fit what I owned in my car, and whatever I didn't fit in my car, I would just like get rid of. So I've done this many, many times. I have lived at like over 12, 13 addresses in my life, maybe 14 now. I don't even know. I lost count. There's a lot. So I've done this a lot, but even when I'm in those spaces, I feel like I do this like seasonally, like I just like clear things out. So step one, find support, ask for support if you need it, or support yourself. I've done that too. There's nothing wrong with that. Step two is turn off distractions. You're going to put your phone on do not disturb. You are going to lock in to a purging session, a decluttering zone. You're going to get in the zone to declutter. You are turning off your phone. Do not disturb. Set a goal for yourself. Be like, I am not taking my phone off do not disturb until I am done with this corner. I love being extreme. So I'm like, if I'm going to purge and I'm doing this, I'm like, I'm doing everything. And I will spend the whole day doing that. I understand I have a luxury where I have a lot of time to do things like that. But for someone who lives a more conventional life, I understand these things take time and they're baby steps. It's a process, one day at a time, one moment to the next moment. Be there with yourself. It's okay if all you could do is one corner or one drawer or one little section of your home at a time, your space, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be so extreme. I'm very aware that I live in the extremes, and when I'm like, I'm going to do something, I'm going to do all of it at once. So turn off your distractions. And now here we get to the part of decluttering. This is where like the challenge really comes in, because it's getting rid of all of the things that don't serve you. And sometimes it's hard. I still have like a box that I carry around. Not, I don't carry this box around, but I have a bin that I keep all old photos and just like things that I don't want to get rid of because they have sentimental value. They're meaningful, and I'm not ever going to get rid of some of these things. Some of the things that have been in that box, it's time to go. I went through this phase where the box would just keep getting bigger and bigger. And then I was holding on to so many things that I was like, oh, I need a bigger box. And it's like, do I need a bigger box, or do I need to let go of some of these things that I am trying to bring into the next chapter when the chapter that they belong to ended a while ago? Great example of this is like letters from old romances. That's a big one. That's usually the hardest. Like when you go through a breakup, you have the bin of like their stuff and things that remind you of the relationship, all of those things. And I would be sleeping with that thing under my bed. That's crazy. No wonder why I'm like dreaming about my ex. You know, you're probably dreaming about your ex-boyfriend if you're keeping a box of photos of you guys under your bed and you broke up. Like, get rid of that stuff. Just, it seems like common sense, but a lot of the times after the fact, when you're not in that situation, it's easier to be like, yeah, why just get rid of them? But when you're actually feeling it, it can be really hard to fully detach from it and like let go. So I'm here to tell you, let go of it. You don't need to keep like the movie tickets from when you went out with your friends to see the new movie that came out. I used to keep the most random things, which I feel like is normal. I don't know, but it's normal to get rid of those things too. Like, do not bring them with you into the next season of your life. Okay. So we're going to declutter things. And when I say things, I mean everything. I've done this so many times. I go through every single thing I own, every belonging, like every book on that shelf, every piece of art, every knickknack, like skincare product, like everything I hold, everything I own, I've gone through, and I'm like every piece of clothing. I don't know why I'm talking like that. Every piece of clothing, shoes, socks, like get rid of the socks that have holes in it. Like get rid of the clothes that have stains on them. Just create space. Get rid of the stuff, all the things that belong to an old version of you. Like if you're trying to become something new, that new version of you that you're stepping into is going to have a different wardrobe, or she is not going to be carrying around the sweatshirt that her ex-boyfriend gave her. Like all of those little things, they're really keeping you in that old version of you, if that makes sense. A great example of this, I'm going to share a story here. I was in a relationship, and this is going back many years. I was in this relationship and I was cold, right? I was chilly, and we were out somewhere, and I was like, hey, do you have a sweatshirt? Like, I'm cold. Girls love wearing their boyfriend's sweatshirts. It's just a thing. And I was like, can I wear a sweatshirt? I'm freezing. So he hands me this sweatshirt, and immediately as he handed it to me, I just knew this sweatshirt touched my hands, and I was like, his ex-girlfriend gave him this sweatshirt. Like, it's a men's sweatshirt, but I just knew, for whatever reason, I'm like, this is not his. Like, this belonged. And I asked him right then and there, I was like, did your ex give you this sweatshirt? Lo and behold, he was like, yeah, but it's mine. Like, you can wear it. And I was like, I'm not putting this thing on. That sounds crazy. I don't know. That sounds crazy now when I say it out loud, but that actually happened. And I was just like, I don't know. It's just weird. Like, I don't want to be wearing that. Like, back then we were living in a small town, but like, could you just imagine? Like, I didn't know, like, intuitively that this thing was from his ex, and we went somewhere and she was there and she's like, haha. Like, I mean, I don't know. All right, I don't know. This is like my fear talking. It really wouldn't matter, but the point is, I felt that it wasn't his. Like, I knew it was from an ex of his. I just knew. Okay, so that's my little story time tangent. Let's keep going. All of the things, remember, keep in mind, everything carries an energy so much that if the guy you're dating hands you a sweatshirt, you'll know just by touching it that it does not actually, like, it's not his. He didn't buy it. Someone gave it to him. Everything's energy. All the clothes you carry, they're holding the energy of wherever they came from, and it's going to create an impact. Another example of this, a great example of this, is a friend of mine. I have many platonic male friends, and one of my platonic male friends, we were walking around a park, and I noticed he had a ring on, and I was like, I really love your ring. Like, that's so cool. And then I was like, can I see it? So I looked closer at it. As soon as I looked at it, I just knew. I was like, that's not his. I was like, a girl, like, that's not his. Like, that's a girl's ring. Not just because the way it looked, like, it wasn't like obviously a girl's ring, but I just like knew. And I asked him, I'm like, where'd you get it? And then he was like, oh, some girl left it at my place. And I'm like, okay. I knew immediately. But also, he may or may not have been having some trouble in his dating world, and he's like, why am I having so much trouble in this dating world of mine? And I'm like, maybe it's because you're wearing random rings that girls left. You get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? It makes sense, right? Because it makes sense to me. Everything's energy. If you're carrying around energy from old flings or like hookups or relationships or whatever it is, and you're choosing to like wear it and walk around with it and like keep it alive, it's subconsciously blocking you from whatever the thing is that you actually want. We're gonna continue. You get the point now. Keep decluttering. Keep going, because you're not done yet. So like, this process, it can take you days, it can take you weeks. Like, you're gonna keep going, you're gonna keep doing this. I don't know if it ever ends. Actually, I don't know if it ever ends. But for me, I did it all in one day, okay? But I always go back and I keep refreshing the energy, and I keep going through things, and I'm like, does this still belong to me? Like, is this still mine? Just keep going. You got this. I believe in you guys. You can do it. My next point, what if I need it? I'm telling you right now, you do not need any of the photos of your abusive ex-boyfriend. Every time you look at it, you're gonna feel like shit. Like, You're going to wonder, oh, why do I feel like this? Our brains have a funny way of keeping us stuck by holding on to things that don't belong to us. I promise you, you do not need a sweatshirt with stains on it, the sweatpants with the stains on it. You don't need the freaking photos of your ex relationships. Like, you do not need any of that stuff. You don't need to carry all of your birthday cards that you've ever had. You don't need to carry a Ziploc baggie full of every birthday card you've ever received. Get rid of this stuff. It blows my mind when I see some of the stuff that people carry around, but I understand. I have empathy because I've been there, and like, that used to be me, but it has been so long since I've been that person. I am like super minimal, very detached from personal things. I feel like I'm good at letting go of especially like material things that don't belong for the whatever season I'm going into next, or whatever chapter is ahead of me. How do I know when I'm done? This question is great, and it's gonna vary person by person. This one's a case by case basis, no pun intended. You'll know when you're done because you're gonna feel lighter. You're gonna feel like like that sigh of relief. You're gonna be like, one, you're gonna be so proud of yourself because you're gonna be like, I just did that. Two, you're gonna feel lighter. You're gonna be like, wow. Like, you're gonna look around. You might have like 12 freaking garbage bags, or you might have like all these boxes of things that you got rid of. So now there's so much more space. You're gonna physically feel the airflow in the space better. It's just gonna feel like you took the biggest exhale, biggest breath of fresh air of your entire life. That is what it's gonna feel like. And it feels so good. Letting go of what doesn't serve you, man. Come on. It's a life hack. Okay? So that's how you know when you're done. The next topic, the next crevice in this rabbit hole we are exploring together is digitally cleansing. This one is, I have my OCD to thank for this one. It goes so deep, you guys. We're going to start with music platforms before we talk about any of the other stuff. Like, this is just like the fun one. Music platforms. I use Spotify exclusively. I use Spotify for all my music and my playlists. I used to be an Apple Music girly. Then at one point I was both. Now it's just Spotify. I have folders for my playlists. I created a folder called archive, where I like archive old playlists. I keep things fresh. I keep things new. Keeps me inspired. That's really it for that one. Like, declutter your playlist. If there's like a sad version of you and you had like sad girl or sad boy playlist, like, and you don't want to be a sad person, make a playlist, call it serotonin, and put all of happy house music in it. I have a playlist called Happy House, and I absolutely love it. And then I have a Happy House part 2 because I have the next season of Happy House version of me. Okay, so that's just something I wanted to share. Number 2 here, notifications. Turn off the freaking notifications on your phone. You do not need to get notifications from Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, X, whatever. You don't need to get notifications from any social media app. Delete them. Like, don't delete them. I mean, maybe delete the apps. You don't need notifications from anything except like text, calls, maybe email. Like, I don't even have my emails on. I have literally texts and calls. I think that's about it. And then like a few other things. Least amount of like pings you can have come across your phone, the better. It's just cluttering your mind, like, and it's holding your attention. Like, you do not need to be on call for your Instagram followers. You don't. Just turn them off. You will have so much more space in your brain. You're going to clear out your phone, you're going to clear out those notifications, and then you're going to have so much more space in your brain to think clearly, to do things that are fun, to be present, to do real life. That's the point here. So turn off the notifications. Number 3, email. Turn off the notifications for your email. Just check it. Just get in a routine to check it. You're going to see those little dots. You're going to see you have like 20 emails, maybe 500. I don't know. Some people are crazy with not checking their email. But I check it every day. The inbox is usually at 0 at the end of every day. And if not, like the next day I go through it. Just keep that thing decluttered. You also will save money because I know at one point, if you have Gmail, they start charging you. Like, I've ran out of storage in my email inbox and they're trying to get me to like buy storage. I'm not doing that. I'm going to delete them. I do not need all these freaking emails. So do that. Save yourself the mental capacity and the money. You don't need to be paying for storage to store digital junk. Actually, that's crazy. Number 4, your camera roll. I do a process here where I carry all the old digital stuff off camera rolls on an external hard drive. Like, I will just upload it and be like, camera roll this year, and drop everything in there. I've had some external drives break and I lost like all the photos and videos from growing up, which, sometimes it makes me sad, but other times I'm like, maybe I can fix it, that I have the hard drives. Whatever. But clear out your camera roll. Like, you don't need to have all these screenshots of things that you say you're going to do, recipes you think you're going to make, whatever. Unless you're actually going to do that, clear the camera roll out. I say that to you. I literally have like almost 40,000 videos and photos in my camera roll. So we're going to move on to the next one. I'm going to do that step this week. Number 5, home screen. Oh my gosh. This also goes for like computers too. Like anything digital, your iPad, all the stuff. Your home screen, like whatever, when you open up your phone, your computer, your iPad, whatever, your tablet, have it clear. Like, if you can do like the least amount of apps as possible, like put things in folders or just delete them from the home screen. If you need it, you're going to know you need it and you can search for it. And if you're not searching for it, then you probably don't need it and you can just delete it. It's taking up space. Get out of town. Get out of here. Okay? So that's my conversation about digitally cleaning. So now we covered physically cleaning your space, digitally cleaning your space. Now we're going to get into the next part of the conversation, which is like, now what? Like, you cleaned out the physical space, you cleaned out your digital world. Now what? Now what do you do? But before we get into that, I want to preface something, because now what is going to change. And honestly, this whole process is going to look so different for each person. It will look different for each person because the type of home that you live in has an impact here. It influences this whole process. So if you live with family, that's going to be a lot different. I love you so much, Mom, but I could not stand how she kept all the like appliances on the counter. If I want to use the blender, I will take it out of a cabinet. But then, do you get what I'm saying? I love you so much, Mom. So much. I promise. I feel so bad, but that's our differences. Like, there's certain things, like if you live with family, they're going to do things a certain way, and that doesn't mean that they have to change because you're changing and you don't like having stuff on the counter, or like you'd rather have an empty counter, whereas someone that you live with might like it to be more lived in, like to each their own. But this will change. So having like honest conversations and like communicating how you feel and what your intentions are for the space, have some conversations. They might turn into arguments. I love you so much, Mom. We used to fight all the time about this stuff. Living with roommates. This one's a bit easier because if you're living with family, odds are you're probably not paying. Maybe you are. Everyone's circumstance is different. I get it. If you're living with family, you're probably not paying. So if you're living with your family and they're paying for the house, the apartment, wherever you're living, if you're not contributing financially, I guess, yeah, to an extent, they have the upper hand there and being like, I'm going to keep all my appliances on the counter. This is my house. It makes sense. Get over yourself. Take care of your bedroom and then just spend as least amount of time as you can in the kitchen if it bothers you that much, right? There's solutions there. It's probably not that deep. This might just be a me thing, If you live with roommates, this is different because you are contributing, probably. I hope. You're probably paying rent. I don't know. I don't know who the hell I think I'm talking to. If you are contributing to the rent or the housing cost, whatever, you have a say in how the space is, like the common shared spaces are. With that being said, have some conversations. You can maybe do it together, whatever it is. Another thing that I want to say here is that when you live with other people, their energy is being brought into things and stuff like that. So if you are focusing on your energy and your belongings and keeping that stuff clear and good in good standing, then it can have a ripple effect. Like you cleaning your room and making your side, your corner of the space cozy and nice and all feng shui great over here. That can inspire the other people that live with you that maybe don't do that to do that. You can be an example. So just because someone else is like trashing the place when you're keeping it clean doesn't, it's annoying. It's really annoying, but if you keep being you, you may just inspire that person to clean up their mess. Number 3, the other type of home that you live in. If you live with a partner, you see like all those trends on TikTok right now that's like girl boy apartments, and it's just like, I don't know. I've seen some cute ones, but at the same time, I feel like the masculine really takes over when you have like a girl boy apartment or living space, you know? Living with a partner, that can also be difficult because you're probably really comfortable with each other. You don't even have your own bed, so now you're sharing a bed. Like if they want that great comforter, oh no. No. Just get it out right now. You can get a nice one on Amazon. Like look at this one. This would be such like this is a very gender neutral bed, don't you think? Get them on Amazon. Whatever you gotta do. But like, do you get what I'm saying? If you live with a partner, that's gonna influence this a lot. They have their own thing, you know. Number 4, the type of home that you live in. The last one here is the best case scenario. Best case scenario, you live alone. That I loved living alone. That was my favorite. I loved it so much because then it doesn't matter. There's no one else there. It's just you. So you can't blame anyone else. You can't be like, oh, it's my partner. Oh, it's my roommates. Oh, it's my family. Like, no, you're on your own, kid. It's just you and no one to blame. Get that feng shui up. Get it up. Okay, so you cleared the space. Now what? You dealt with your roommates. You had the conversations. You talked to your family. You talked to your partner. Or you talk to yourself because you live alone and you just you let the place go. Get it together. You cleared it. Now what? Now you get a bagua. You get the map. You get the bagua map. Okay? This is where we really get into the fun part. This is the fun part. The bagua, I'm going to explain. I'm going to give you the definition of what it is. So ba is 8 and gua is areas or symbols. So there's 8 areas, 8 symbols on this map. And it originated as a Tao symbol in ancient China as a means of incorporating the interrelated principles of yin, the receptive feminine energy, and yang, the creative masculine energy, and the balance between all things in nature into one's environment. The yin yang, you know, the balance, the dark in the light, the good with the bad, all of it. We're balancing the space using a bagua. So we know it's 8 areas. So we have 8 areas in our space that all mean something. They're all symbolizing a different part of our life energetically. If you can Google it, I'm gonna put it on the screen here, but you have your map and you'll see the front entrance. You would stand in the front entrance and you can just hold your phone or whatever. Like it's nice if you have like a floor plan of your space and you can just put it on top, right? Like lower the opacity, whatever. That's tea. Okay, so now you got your bagua and you're going to overlay this like on top of your space and what it looks like, whether you have to draw it or you can take a photo of a floor plan, conceptualize it. You can do it. I believe in you. So this can be applied to the whole house or the apartment, the space, the condo, whatever it is that you live in. So the map will overlay and you'll see what areas are in what spot of the house, apartment, condo, whatever. And then you can do the same thing for your individual space, like your bedroom. So say you rent a room, you can do it just for your room. If you have a whole house, you can do it for the whole house, like whatever it is. But the key here is that it can be used for your bedroom and the whole space. So there's a bagua 8 centers in your room and in the whole house, the whole apartment, whatever. I'm going to just tell you all the corners. So we have the knowledge and self cultivation corner. So this is all of your like personal development, um, anything with learning, education, all of those things. So keeping belongings or things that fit that theme in that area, the it'll boost the abundance, the energy flowing in that space. It'll help you like manifest things, call things in. So we have that corner. Then we have the career and life path section area, symbol. So that is anything with your career and your life path, like your destiny, right? All those things. Then we have helpful people and travels. We have children and creativity, health and center, health and ancestors, wealth and prosperity, fame and reputation, love and marriage. So all of these different things. So it's like all of these are the different areas of your life that are reflected in your space. Remember, your space is a reflection of you, and this takes it a step further because it tells you what spot in your home or your space is reflecting the specific part of your life and your world. So, with that being said, we're going to talk about the connection here. The connection between your life that you are living and the space that you're living in. What the heck does it all mean? Well, it means a lot. It's connected. So the correlation is actually pretty crazy because I'm going to share a story here. There was a time I had a friend call me up and she was just going through it in her marriage and she was like having a really tough time. She called me and was explaining things, and this was in my era of really diving deep into feng shui, and I live by this stuff. So if you're my friend and you call me and you're not doing okay, I'm going to ask you what the marriage and relationships corner of your home looks like. If you're struggling in your relationship, if you are not feeling so hot with your career, I'm going to ask you what that part of your house looks like. Like, that's just me. Sorry. But yes, I had a friend call and she was going through it. What was she feeling? She was feeling like her partner wasn't paying attention to her, like all he was doing was working, and it was never about their actual relationship. It was just work, no play, and there was just space, there was distance, it was like all this other stuff. She was going through it, not getting attention because he was working all the time. I was like, let's see the corner. Bring me to this spot because I knew what her house looked like. I'm like, bring me to this spot. I'm on the phone. So I'm like, bring me to this spot. Let me see it. She flips the camera and I'm like, what is all of that stuff? She shows me the corner, and it was a pile of his work clothes, his work stuff, things for work. And I'm like, how about you move that? Like, you should move those. Don't even tell him. Just move the stuff over, just a little bit over, and see what happens. You move the stuff, it creates space, the energy can flow, and whether it's yes, you move the things, you create the space, but there's something that's happening. It changes the energy, it shifts things, it moves things around. It takes what was stagnant and stuck and it like picks it up and moves it on. And that's exactly what happened for that friend of mine. And I love that for her. With that being said, I shared this story a while ago on my Instagram, but I'm going to share it again here. It was the wealth and prosperity corner of my whole apartment. I cleaned, and literally like 2 days later, I received a message that resulted in me I received this huge box of samples from yogi tea, which was the greatest gift ever because I love tea so much and I drink it all the time. And if I got this box any time prior to me cleaning that area, I wouldn't have had anywhere to put it because there was just stuff on top of this shelf, and I cleaned off the shelf. And I was like, oh, I'm cleaning off the abundance and prosperity wall. This corner, this area of the home, it's for abundance and all that. Literally within days, I received this package and I was like, oh my gosh, it worked. It worked. I cleared some space. I cleared the energy. I shifted it. And then it's like you get rewarded for that. You're making space for new things. I made space. When you're clearing out the space, you don't even know what you're clearing it out for yet most of the time. And it's like, just be in that unknown. It's exciting. So be in that. Okay. I did not realize when I was cleaning off that shelf in the hallway that I was clearing it off to put 102 boxes of tea from like my favorite tea brand. Shout out Yogi Tea. Love you guys forever. So yeah, with that being said, you can dive into this. I would love to know, or I would just love for you to know, just get the map. Go if there's an area in your life that you're struggling with, whether it's your health, whether it's your career and where your life is headed, look at that corner of your home. What is it what does it say? What is it telling you? Is it piled up with stuff? Like if you are keeping things in certain areas, they're really creating an impact. You don't even realize it. This goes so deep. We're gonna get deeper. We'll have to have a part two. There's gonna be many conversations of this, but we can get into like the different elements, because this really just is scratching the surface here. But there's like certain elements that you put in the certain centers and the areas of your home, your room, to ground in the energy or to call things in. Like it can get very, very specific. There's colors that you can put in that area of your home to boost certain things and bring in certain energies. There's so many different things, but I mainly wanted to get the point across that feng shui goes so deep, and it's really like a rabbit hole that I dove in, and now I'm like bringing y'all in here with me because you should know these things too. I mean, I know these things. I can just tell you. So yeah, everything is energy. Everything around you, it's an extension of you. Your phone, your car, your home. Oh, Munchie girl, she's so cute. Before we sign out for this conversation, I want to talk about Reiki and feng shui because they're besties. So Reiki is something that I just got certified in. I got certified my second certification with Reiki, which is very awesome. I love learning about it. I love practicing it, and I'm excited for this journey, which we will have a whole episode talking about that. For right now, what I'm just going to say is Reiki is universal energy, universal life force energy, and feng shui is chi energy. They are hand in hand. They work together. So with Reiki, you can infuse Reiki in anything. You can send it off into the future. You can give it to the past versions of yourself. You can send this like healing life force energy anywhere for the greatest good, because everything's happening for us. You can send those intentions out. Reiki is more of intention. Feng shui is like the practicality of like where things are placed, putting them together. So like, for example, I can make sure the feng shui is on point. I'm not holding on to things that don't belong to me. I am keeping things clear, clean, light. I am not like holding on to like an overly exaggerated amount of things. Like I'm pretty minimalist. I have like clothing rentals, so like I don't even like have all my drawers filled. Like I send like some of the clothes back, like all this stuff, I do all these things. And now I'm adding Reiki on top of it. So not only am I like clearing the space and doing all of that, I'm like infusing like love and light and good intentions into all of my belongings and my space. I'm like, it's in the walls in here, baby. So that's where it taps into like the sixth sense, because feng shui really touches all the senses. We have like the physical, like it feels good on like a energetic level when you're in the space, but then it also smells good because you're gonna be burning some candles. You're gonna have to a good clean, a good purge. You light a candle, it's like no better feeling in the world. We're gonna dive so much deeper into this another day, but I think we really covered a lot today, and thank you for being here. I also just want to say that I am so grateful. Thank you so much for the love that you've given me on the first few episodes. We're here. I'm in here for the long haul, and I'm happy that you're here with me. And I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me in my bedroom. We should do it again sometime. If you liked today's episode, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share it with a friend, share it with someone that you think needs to clean the room. Send it to a family member that's stubborn and doesn't want to clean out the fridge or clean off the kitchen counters, you know. Yeah, that's really all. I love ya. Thanks for being here. I hope that you guys have a great time purging and releasing all the things from your old selves that don't need to be coming into the next season of our lives. You can do it. I believe in you. I hope that you make this moment the greatest moment that you possibly can. I love you. That is all. Bye. Say bye, mama. Oh, Munchy girl. See, she loves the good feng shui in here. I know I said I was going to leave, but just so you know, everything in this room, I curated a great vibe in here. It's all so intentional. Like the bookshelf, the placement of everything. It is so, so intentional. So I hope this inspires you to do the same for your space. I promise you, you'll feel so good after you do it and after the hard part's done. You got this. Again, have a beautiful moment wherever you are, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.